2, 3.
Hello, I'm Emily Livesay.
And I'm Blaine Sebastian.
And welcome to our podcast. Today I thought it would be fun to kind of talk about female directors. Now, this is something that I'm very passionate about. I know it's something you don't have a whole lot of knowledge on.
Yeah, I mean, I know the greats, like, the Kubricks and goodness, I've already forgotten his name. Yeah, I clearly know what I'm talking about, but yeah.
That is okay. I guess I'll educate you.
Alright.
Okay, so first off, you're probably asking yourself, why is this so important?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Why is this so important?
Just like that?
Pray tell.
Okay. I will. Thank you. So as a young kid, I remember I had a teacher. He was one of those, if you could live the life that Homer Simpson lived, that is what this man did. Had 3 kids. He was a nuclear power plant engineer. He was in the military for a little bit.
Did he go to space?
I don't think he went to space.
Did he have a plow business?
I don't... Actually, I think he did.
Nice.
I think he did have a plow business at one point. He's gotten injured numerous times.
Sounds like Homer.
But I remember this man looking at me one day and he said, women don't understand action movies. And as a woman, I was like, what? Excuse me? And he said it's because we don't experience exhilaration the same way a man does in an action movie.
Interesting.
And I kind of just looked at life and said, all right, bet. I gotta fight against this, don't I? And I kind of did. So I was like, that's kind of why I went into the field I did. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No, I did not.
Oh, cool. Okay. So tell me about your favorite directors.
Well, I don't really have a necessary favorite. I kind of just, I may follow a couple of them, but again, not a necessary favorite, but I pretty much just watch any movie that looks good, regardless of director or actors, or I don't really have a vendetta against any necessary directors, or...
No, I feel you.
And I'm not really jumping out of my skin to go see a new, director or actor's movie. I'm just like, okay, it seems cool. So I'm kind of just, I'm kind of just here in the movie world, just watching whatever they give me.
I feel you. Here's a fun fact for you. Did you know there are 24 male directors per 1 female director?
Interesting.
In the world. Isn't that kind of crazy? Think about that. So, if you want to know what that means, so in the top 100 grossing films as of 2019, this is according to Hollywood.com, so top 100 grossing films in 2019, 10.7 of which were directed by women.
Nice.
Isn't that crazy? That's actually a surprisingly small amount.
Huh.
But here, I got a great list from going all the way back to 1914 of some films that have been directed by women. And then, of course, I want to talk a little bit about one that I love, and you've seen this one, so you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So at first, the first big film that you could find that was directed by a woman was called Mabel's Blunder. It was by Mabel Normand.
Okay.
And she did her film in 1914. So she directed, she was in it, she
did the whole shebang.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. I think it was her significant other that actually ended up filming it.
Interesting.
But that was like one of the first big times that we saw women direct something. The next one comes out to Outrage, which was by, I am so sorry if I butcher these women's names. Some of them, I'm so glad they paved the way for women like me to be able to direct now. I'm just going to butcher their names. You have Outrage by Ida Lupino in 1950.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, that one's more of a like a noir kind of style.
Okay.
Like woman catches husband cheating, she kills him kind of deal. That's what I understood. Either that or it's like a teen bullying movie.
Interesting.
I could not find a whole lot about the film. I did try to look. Then you have Big by Penny Marshall in 1988.
Is that the one with Tom Hanks?
It is the one with Tom Hanks.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one, but it was one that a lot of people were like, hey, it's a good one, watch it. Then you have Point Break by Catherine Bigelow.
Of course.
Who I have grown to love. On top of that, she's always one of those ones like, are you ever going to let your husband or whatever join you in filming? And she's like, no. I'm like, feminist. I'm about it. Then we go to A League of Their Own, which, as you know, is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yes.
It was written by Penny Marshall in 1992.
Okay.
I really like Penny Marshall. I thought a lot of her shots, especially in that film, are just absolutely gorgeous. And on top of that, everything about that film is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful movie, and it's a story that needs to be told. So it's one I love. And of course, oh Lord, I forget her name now. The main chick, she was just beautiful.
Right.
Like, oh my God, everything about it was just that film. If you've never seen A League of Their Own, and I mean it's for anybody, you need to see it. It is definitely for me on the top 100 movies you need to watch before you die.
Yes.
The Secret Garden, hated the book. Hated the book.
I don't think I've heard that one.
It's, oh God, it's exactly what it sounds about. It's a secret garden. It was made in 1993 by, I'm not even going to pronounce that. It's Agnieszka.
Okay.
Holland is her last name. I've seen this version of The Secret Garden. It's good. It's just kind of boring for me. Little Women, 1994, as you know, again, another favorite book of mine.
Right.
The 1994 version is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty accurate to the book, unlike the new one, which is disappointing. Which was directed by Gillian Armstrong in 1994. Isn't that kind of cool?
Yeah.
Have you ever read that one?
I don't believe so, no.
Drat. It's a good one. Definitely recommend it sometime. One of my least favorite movies in existence. Just because I don't like a dumb woman. A dumb woman getting her way in the world. Because that is, I guess it is kind of how it works sometimes. But it's Clueless.
Ah, yes.
Clueless, yes.
Never watched it, but I know it's not one of your favorites.
Yes, the only thing that's good about it is one of my favorite actors. That's where he got, his big start. Oh God. Now I'm gonna blank on his name for 5 minutes. Oh God. He played Turk in Scrubs.
Anyway.
I'm just not gonna get it. So. Oh well, anyway, Scrubs. Go to IMDb. If someone gets it, congratulations. Here's a fun one for you. The Matrix was directed by women.
Interesting.
I'm sorry, but that is one of the... It's more action, wouldn't you consist?
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the greatest action movies of all time.
Yeah.
It was directed by Lily and Lana Wachowski in 1999. And again, it's a classic.
It is.
It's one that, everybody's got to watch, whether you like it or not. And I have to admit, it's not my favorite. But I know that, if you mention action movies, you get your Die Hard, you get your Independence Days,
Expendables and your John Wicks.
Your A-Teams.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also get The Matrix. It's your more sci-fi and adventure, which is a great one. This one,
Blade Runner. It's just boring enough for me.
Oh God, I can't stand that one. You know that. Next up on this list, I'm sorry that we're going through this list. I just thought some of these were interesting and I didn't know it. You've mentioned this one to me before. I'm not much of a horror person, but I know you are. American Psycho is directed by a woman.
Yes. One of my favorite ones.
It was directed by Mary Herron in 2000.
Okay.
It's one that I know you and I are planning on watching sometime.
Yeah. We picked it up a couple of days ago, actually.
Yeah. I don't know anything about this one, but it's another one that I hear everybody talk about. Bend It Like Beckham.
Yeah, that was a big... I remember when that movie came out, and all the teens at the time were flocking to see it, but I had no idea of movie knowledge. I didn't even have movie knowledge in general.
About soccer or something?
It was. Didn't it have? It had a soccer legend in it. That's what made it so popular.
Yeah. Oh God.
I think it was
remember.
David Beckham actually.
Was it David Beckham? I mean that would Bend It Like Beckham. That would make sense. It's one I never saw. I was a big soccer kid. It's just one I never thought about. But I know it's another one that you hear people go, "Oh my God." Yeah, that movie.
It was kind of a teen movie, and me being in about the 4th or 5th grade at the time, I was not a teen, so I did not care.
Kurinder Chida, 2003. Again, I probably butchered that.
Was that the director?
That's the director.
Okay.
Yeah. This is one that I think would blow your mind a little bit. The Hurt Locker.
Interesting. It's my dad's favorite movie.
Yeah, I wonder if he knows. It's another Catherine Bigelow, who, again, I quite enjoy. She's quite funny. It's quite fun. She's actually really nice. Like, she's not that kind of person. Then you have, actually, this one baffled my mind, so we're going to take a quick detour. Go to Disney here for a second. Frozen was directed by women.
Okay.
Or technically it was directed by a woman and a guy, but she had more emphasis on it.
Okay.
Jennifer Lee and Chris Buck. 2013?
Yeah.
That makes me feel old as heck.
I remember when it came out. I didn't watch it until about 2 years later.
I remember my friend kept coming. I was really depressed, and she came by my house and was like, we're going to go get coffee, we're going to go get dinner, and we're going to go see a movie. And I said, okay, sure. And she did. We went and saw Frozen, and we decided we were going to cosplay from it, but we never did.
I watched it at... God. One of my teachers showed it during one of the last days of school in, I think, high school, actually.
Dope.
Yeah, so... Because, you can only watch PG movies in school.
Up next, don't worry, we don't have too many more of these. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I always say it wrong. The Babadook? Babadook. I always knew it as Babadook.
No, Duck.
Duck.
Think of it like you're saying, like you're mispronouncing duck. Duck.
Again, I'm saying it like duck as in book. Spelled similarly. It was written by Jennifer Kent.
Either way.
2014.
Now that was a movie.
The 2014 one or the original? Because this is a remake, isn't it? 2014? No. Oh, okay.
There's only one Babadook.
Again, horror. I just got into horror films as of a couple months ago?
Yeah, well, if you watch this one, bring some earplugs. That kid would not shut up for the entire movie.
Is that the one that they make the memes of?
Yeah, why can't you be normal? Screams. Exactly.
Oh, I'm so sorry for whoever listens to this for that.
45 minutes of the movie.
Great. Up next is The Breadwinner. It's one I've always heard, but I've never seen.
It's one that's on my list, and I know it's pretty old, but I have things all the way from the 80s that are on my list.
It's not that old.
Yeah.
It was in 2017.
Really?
This must be a remake then?
No, I don't think so.
Or
it may be.
Nora Twomey. That's a fun name to say. Say it. Twomey. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's how it looks. I know we're talking about how wonderful female directors are, but God, I can't stand this movie. Ladybird.
Yes.
Oh my Lord. I would much rather you give me like the spoons, like the taste tester spoons at ice cream joints, and let me just scoop out my eyeballs for you there.
So we don't like it?
No. Look, it's not that it was... It's not my kind of storyline. Like, if you liked Twilight, that's probably going to be a film you're going to love. But if you're not a Twilight person like me, and I'm so sorry for any Twilight people out there, it's just not my thing.
Do I look like a Twilight person?
I guess it was directed by a woman. It was written by a woman.
Yeah.
Same with Harry Potter, but we just don't acknowledge J.K. Rowling as a person anymore.
Yeah.
As she deserves. Sorry, my personal opinion on that. If you can't be nice, you don't deserve nice things. Whoa, okay, I didn't even notice this when I typed it. Okay, so then you have A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. No, as soon as you mentioned it, you're
Rogers.
like, yeah, Mr. Rogers, the Mr. Rogers film they did a couple years ago. God, that makes me feel old too.
I never actually did get to watch that one either.
Neither did I. It was one that my dad loves, and if my dad loves it, that's saying something.
Yeah.
Because the only other movie that man watches is The Last Starfighter and the freaking Steve Jobs film.
Yeah.
That used to be on every time I came home, and it was always the ending scene where he's being a jerk to Wozniak about the shark picture.
The man probably owns anywhere from about 150 to 200 DVDs, and that's his favorite movie.
And yeah, I know. I know. He watches, again, I always come home, and it's always the scene where he's getting ready for the press conference, and he's got the shark picture, and they're like, no, it's not the right one, and his daughter's like, I don't want to go to school, and I hate you, and he's like, I don't even care anymore. But I'm so glad this is where we derailed.
Yes.
Is this stupid Steve Jobs movie. Which is a movie that, yes, it needed to be made, but gosh, he was a jerk. A lot of these men, when is the Bezos movie?
Okay. Michael Fassbender, yeah, okay, so Steve Jobs.
Yeah, that one.
Just one word difference, but yes.
Yeah, that one. That's the one he watches all the time. Steve Jobs. So it's that specific one, not Jobs.
Okay.
Steve Jobs.
This one apparently did better and came out.
It
came out 2 years later.
I will admit, again, I know we're talking about female directors, but that's another movie that, to me, it's beautifully shot. It's very simplistic. But the storyline for me is just everywhere. And I don't like that. And on top of that, he says the F word like 7,000 times. Anytime he can say the F word, he does. And I'm like, stop. That's because it ruins the moment for me.
Right.
Anyway, so funny enough, the woman who directed Ladybird also directed The New Little Women.
Okay.
You know, the one that Emma Watson was in. I still have yet to watch that one, and I'm kind of scared to now.
Yeah, me too.
Look,
I've heard it's not great, but not bad.
I mean, again, I was a huge fan of the books. I read them as a kid. I found a signed copy of it for my mom. You know?
Right.
So, it's got a special place in my heart, and I'm so scared if they mess it up that I might just cry. It's just, it's such a special place for me.
Right.
So there's some films. I'm surprised. Yes. Okay. So finally, big topic I wanted to talk about. Now this is going to be fascinating for you. Okay. And I'm gonna pull up some stats using IMDb here to really seal the deal. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna name 2 films, and I want you to tell me which one is more memorable. Justice League and Wonder Woman.
I mean, Justice League for the time was memorable, but then Snyder came back and fixed it. And Wonder Woman, I didn't actually see when it came out. I watched it with you, and it was very good. So, if we were talking about original Justice League before he fixed it, then Wonder Woman was better.
Yeah, no, this is before Snyder cut.
Alright.
Okay, so I don't know if you ever got to see it. I probably showed you the post. Okay, so I want you to pay close attention to one key detail here.
Okay.
So here, I'm gonna pull it up for you. Okay, so this was the costuming in Wonder Woman. Like, look at the armor. It's very detailed, very chic, but still nice enough that they can run around on their horses, right?
Right.
Right? Looks good. It's a good look. Big, strong, powerful women.
Right.
Cool. Then let me show you this. Okay, now this, before I show it to you, you're probably gonna be, I don't know if you're gonna be nearly as baffled as I was, but of course I'm a woman.
Okay.
This was the costuming that was chosen. They weren't forced into it. Chosen by the costume designer. Right, ready?
Okay.
Here it is.
Yeah, that's definitely a drastic change.
What is that? How are they supposed to defend themselves?
Yeah, no.
They're midriff. I mean, you can see everything. Just stick them in a bikini and stilettos and call it a day.
Yeah, that's essentially what that is.
I guess when they're swinging swords and shooting guns, they're only aiming for those spots only.
Guess so.
I guess they're just like, I can't shoot him in the belly. I've got to get him, like, right in the crotch. Like, I don't know what else you want me to say about it.
Right.
Do you know what the difference was?
I'm guessing directors.
Yeah, actually, not only the directors, but just the teams. All right, so you ready for this? So the Wonder Woman, like the top, I call it the above the line group. Are you familiar with the term above the line?
Kind of.
So when someone is above the line, this is like your directors, your actors, like your big people, your executive producers, your cinematographers, your costumes, your exec producers, your writers,
right.
Those guys. Then you've got like the grips, you've got, all of them down below.
Yeah.
The caterers,
Yeah.
So your above the line people are like your directors, your writer, your big people. So here are the 5 that I wanted to show you. So the director for Wonder Woman, her name is Patty Jenkins. She's amazing. I've learned a lot about her over the past couple days. Her favorite, she actually died to like direct Wonder Woman,
right.
And actually wrote a 7-page letter about it to actually do it.
Oh wow!
She went through 5 interviews to get that movie, and I think she did a dang good job.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
The writers were Alan Heinberg, and look at this, Zack Snyder. So, man, They did a good job. The writing was pretty good. I thought the her being a god too was kind of lazy, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, okay, Professor Lupin from Harry Potter is going to smack Gal Gadot around a little bit. Got it. The exec producer was Rebecca Steele and Robin Oakley.
Okay.
So I thought, again, female, you know, your first female exec producer. Cinematographer was Matthew Jensen, who, again, it's another film that I think is beautifully shot, so he did a very good job.
Right.
It's beautiful. And then costuming, this being the important part, was by Lindy Hemming, and she did, again, great job. It was very well done. You know, if you had told me that they had spent most of their money on the costumes, I'd fully believe you. And honestly, I'm glad they did. If I remember correctly, and I could totally be wrong, they actually used one of the cheaper cameras in the camera world for this film. Now, we get to Justice League, which I know is the exact opposite. Can you guess who the director of this was?
Was it Zack Snyder?
It was Snyder, but of course, you know, he was told what to do by the executive producers.
Right.
You won't believe who the executive producer was. I didn't know this either. So here's some fun facts for you in case you ever need to know this for trivia. So the writers was Chris Terrio, Josh Whedon, and Zack Snyder.
Okay.
Which I thought was interesting. Or Joss Whedon. Mm-hmm. Not a name I'm familiar with, but it's okay. You ready for the executive producer?
Sure.
Ben Affleck.
Interesting.
I didn't know that. I was like, okay. Wasn't he in it? Wasn't that the whole deal? It's probably the only reason I got produced.
Yeah.
It's because he's like, I want a movie. And they said, all right. Then he got to do it all over again. The cinematography was Fabian Wagner. Again, I didn't like the cinematography in this one as much. It just kind of boring. Right. It was a lot of up close and medium range shots, and that was kind of disappointing. Whereas I think Zack Snyder's cut, or the Snyder cut, is the exact opposite. It's too much. It's too much detail. The story is so much better. But then there's that bit with Lois and the cup of coffee, and there's like 7 different shots of the cup of coffee of it like tilting over, and look, the steam rising from it, and look at the lid. I'm like, that's great. Where's the story? Right. And then finally, the costuming was by Michael Wilkinson, a man. And if I don't mean to be a little sexist here, but and toot my own horn, but it really shows. Oh my God, they were all like wearing heels. How are you gonna fight in heels? Yeah. I would love to watch Superman try to fight in heels. I think it'd be, you know what, Batman would rock it. Okay. But I was thinking about it, and I'm like, look, this second group, what did you not hear? Justice League wise. You did not hear one woman's name, did you?
I did not.
But you heard Wonder Woman's, and you heard a lot of female names here. And I think, honestly, that made a huge deal. You know? So especially women directing films, especially that are targeted, you know, about women, I think are definitely the way to go about this. But again, I just thought this was interesting. Right. Well, I think this is all we have time for. So thank you for joining me on my kind of discussing about female directors in a little bit. Again, as a woman who wants to be able to direct her own films, it's kind of just an exciting topic for me, you know? Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me, Blaine. I really appreciated having you.
Of course. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, and thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed our topic, and maybe, who knows, maybe we'll do more. Who knows? Maybe not always about this topic. Maybe something about horror movies. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys.
I think the secret to directing is collaborating, and I had truly an extraordinary group of collaborators in my crew: Barry Ackroyd and Callie Juliuson and Bob Murawski, Chris Innes, Ray Beckett,